You Making the Most of Life is the third in a series. This is a collection of my columns. My column is called Ozone and it appears in the Times Life every Sunday. The column is on issues relating to contemporary living and relationships. So I would have dealt with questions like, are you really, really honest? Do you believe in love? Are you actually in love, or are you fooling yourself? Then there would be a question like, what am I doing in this world? Who am I? Why did I come into this world? What is the purpose of my life? Again, there will be questions like, if my spouse is having an affair, do I really want to know? And if I know about it, will I forgive him? Do people that we love really deserve forgiveness? So I deal with questions like that, which, every day we think about in our daily interactions with people, and we think about it and we move on. So I just sit down, think about it a bit more, mull over it, and then come out with a write-up which appears in my column. I try not to give too many answers as such, because the whole idea of doing these columns and the collection in this book is to get you started thinking. I like to tease the reader's mind and give a lot of options, give opinions of lots of people and what we are all thinking about, and then leave it to you to find the answers. Because I really believe that in life you cannot just sit and plan life. It will never work out accordingly. Life will always throw a googly at you. And whenever you've made your plan, something or the other is definitely going to go wrong. And you need to be prepared to make adjustments and get back into the full flow of life. That is what life is all about. This is what these columns deal with. And Are You Making the Most of Life is what this book is all about. Boys sitting on either side of me, Ravi, Subramanian, Anand, Neelakantan, both successful, well-known, well-placed authors, and they are our Right India authors as well, for being here with me to launch the book and to talk to me about it. And I hope you are going to enjoy this discussion.
When I was going through the first page, a couple of things caught my mind. One, it says life throws us googlies. And two, it says it's time for change. Now, what kind of change are you referring to here? And what's the biggest googly that life has thrown on you?
With the very first question, you're getting personal, Ravi. Okay. So, like I said, life does always throw googlies, because, we plan things in life. And I'll answer your second question first. The biggest googly that life threw at me was, I literally started off life with my father having planned the IAS for me. So all through my childhood, as I grew up, went through college and all, I was told you will only get into the IAS and you will not do anything else. So I was also like, I thought I don't have any other alternative, and I never thought of an alternative. So I sat through the civil services, I appeared for the prelims, I went through the mains, and I got through to the interview. And after that, when I kind of felt, okay, this is the plan that life has for me, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'll get. So the biggest shock that I got at that point was when my name was nowhere there in the list after the interview results came out. And it threw me so badly that I did not even appear again for the civil services. Now we know that most people who get into the IAS have appeared for it several times, and maybe the second time or the third time I might have got through. But I just gave it up. And I think till date, that is the biggest googly that life threw at me, and it was a starting point for a completely different life, and one that I had never thought of or dreamt of. So obviously somebody else is sitting up there and making plans for us, no matter what plans we make.
Okay, interesting point you make. But before I go ahead with this, you write these relationship columns in Ozone, right? In Times Life. How do you do research for these? Are all of these from personal experiences? Because you sometimes do cover a lot of controversial topics there, right? In terms of relationship between man and woman, in terms of morality and immorality, in terms of flirting, in terms of boy-girl relationship. A lot of it also has a lot of sexual overtones. How do you research for all this?
This is like if I turn it around on you and ask you that every bit of fiction that you write, is it from your real life experience? The answer for me is the same as for you, that a lot of it is from my real life experiences. A lot of it is from the experience of friends close to me who have known me and trust me enough to talk to me about their personal lives. And a lot more has to do with the amount of reading that I do. I read a lot and I think a lot about relationships, and it's something that comes very naturally to me, and I like to resolve issues related to relationships, so I think about it a lot, and that's where most of it comes from. But yes, quite a lot of it is from personal life as well.
Do you counsel friends a lot?
Initially, I think I used to, because they would come up to me, not friends as much as colleagues used to come up to me and treat me like a kind of a relationship agony aunt or something. And I think in the beginning I did try to answer them, but now I've moved away from there. And even people who write to me after reading my column, and when they ask very specific questions about their personal lives, I try not to answer them, because I really feel that unless you know a person very well and his or her circumstances, you cannot give them the kind of advice that would really be good for them. So I don't do that anymore. But yes, once in a while, sometimes I get a mail from someone saying, I was on the verge of killing myself and your column came and I read it and I'm feeling much better about life now and I didn't do it. I've got 3-4 mails like that at various times. So then I do write back and try to engage them in a conversation, so that till a point that they feel better about it. And I do suggest that they go to some experts.
So interesting. I think you can actually give a lot of relationship advice to all the people sitting here in case they need some. I have seen that in life, a lot of people feel that unless you suffer in relationship, at the hands of other people, unless you get things in a very difficult manner and you have to struggle for things, you don't realize the value of those things. And you've covered that in your book as well. How important is suffering? Why can't everything be pleasant and happy and nice and you just go through 100 years of life in a very happy manner without even seeing suffering at all?
If that was how it was to happen, if you were to just be in a state of happiness and bliss and suffer no pain at all, then we wouldn't have come into this world. I think the reason that we are sent into this world, and I really believe Dr. Brian Weiss on this when he says that we are, actually divine beings going through an earthly experience. And the reason we are going through this experience is because we have to go through the pain and the suffering and the ups and downs of life to hone our spirit and to become mature beings. And so without pain there is never any happiness, and without happiness there is never any pain. I do believe that life goes in phases. When you are happy, you have to always remember, keep your feet on the ground and remember that after happiness comes pain. And when you are in pain, you have to always remember, don't give in to depression, because after pain will come happiness. So life goes through these ups and downs, and I feel that if we keep that in mind, there is no pain big enough to get us totally down, and no happiness big enough to make us feel bloated and arrogant about our lives.
The power of superstition. Where do you draw the line between belief, rationality and superstition? How can superstition be powerful?
Superstition as such, if like everything else in life, when taken in a rational and balanced way, I think we can work around everything. All of us have certain superstitions. It could even be me touching wood whenever I say something nice about myself or anyone that I love, or it could be just before leaving the house bowing my head before an idol. I think in that way, if these are the kind of superstitions that you have, they help you in life, because you feel you have faith in that one thing, and you feel that if I've touched wood, no harm can come to me. If I have bowed before an idol before leaving my house, no harm will touch me. So things will go well. And I feel that life is a lot about positivity and the good positive thoughts that we have. And thoughts can really change us, change others, and also change life around us. So if these superstitions can help us feel positive and good about ourselves, I think that's a good achievement. But if taken beyond that, and if you totally believe in it and you do not want to do anything else, you just feel that, okay, today is a very important interview, but I will not go out because a black cat has crossed my path, now that can be very harmful. So you need to know where to draw that line.
Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between belief and superstition? Your belief could be my superstition or vice versa. Where do you draw the line?
I think for you have to draw the line where you feel that a particular superstition is harming you, and if you believe in yourself and you believe in your your values, those should ride over any superstitions or any other beliefs that you may have.
Are you superstitious?
In some very small ways, yes. But where I feel that it is, I like to do little things that, are very personal to me. I may like to do those. I might, which I feel that over time have worked with a little experience through the experiences of your own life, which is why, I feel it's a very personal thing. Something that may work for me may not work for you. So it's not, superstition is not something that I would pass on to my children. They may have their own little, quirks and little things that they might like to do.
A lot of people approach spiritual gurus. Spirituality has become a big business now. Why do you think people go to this kind of gurus and get cheated most of the time?
I don't. I never have. And I never will. Except if I'm curious about a guru and I want to find out what makes them tick and, what is it that is making them so popular. The people who do go, and I've spoken to some of them, but this is something which is a highly sensitive topic, and if you ask someone, they tend to get very upset about it because it's something again very personal to them. I feel the people who go are looking for answers, as we all are, and they are not finding the answers in their own lives. Either they do not have the sense of balance which allows them to find the answers to the questions that they are asking themselves and the world. That is one reason, and they feel that these people may be able to give them the answers. The other is that when you see a lot of other people going to these gurus and coming back and telling them, oh, there was a miracle in their lives and they did very well, these kind of stories are spread around, which most of them come from the followers of the gurus themselves or the gurus. Then I feel that people tend to believe that, and they feel that, I don't want to be left out. I want to also partake of this miracle and see what happens. And after that, I think it's all a case of hypnosis and, mass hypnosis and kind of making people believe what the gurus wanted them to believe, and so you get carried away in that mass hysteria.
Vinita, tell me one thing. There are a lot of fad words now, like spirituality. Everybody is spiritual. Everybody claims they are spiritual. They say, I don't believe in religion, I am very spiritual. But they will be doing everything opposite to that. But they say, I'm spiritual. Is spirituality a new age fad? Because if you see in our ancient myths and other things, spiritual people, even the great living gods travel in BMWs and Rolls Royces. So they are all spiritual. So that is being proven.
Yeah, but I don't call them the living gods at all. I mean, I know in what way you mean it. You mean it in inverted comma sense. But yes, I don't believe in them as gods at all. But what I'm trying to say is that, being tempted is not being non-spiritual. Being able to overcome that temptation is, I cannot be good unless I have some evil in me. If being good does not mean a lack of evil. It means I am tempted by that evil, but the goodness in me has helped me overcome that evil. So that's what I believe.
You said immoral men cannot be great. Okay. But when you look at reality and look at life today, all great men are immoral. Okay. So how do you explain that?
If I remember correctly, I did not say that if going against the core values and beliefs that I hold, that I uphold, if I go against those, then I'm being immoral.
So those values can be different for different people, right? So
yeah.
What you call as immoral may not be immoral in the eyes of the person who's being immoral in your eyes. So it's very subjective.
Yes, it is. But then there are, of course, the broader definition of immorality and morality, fidelity and infidelity, which society believes in and which we all follow. And then there are the nuances that we all tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. So somebody could be a man may be having an affair with a woman who is not very well-to-do. He might be having an extramarital affair with her and telling himself, I'm helping her. She needs it. I've given her a house. I would say, don't rock the boat of a happy life. if she is happily married, and if she is like, if she has children and if she is happily married, I would say don't rock the boat of your happy life, because ultimately at the end of it, it's all the same. Love is love, sex is sex, lust is lust. It's all the same. It's all in your mind and it's within you. So that's what I would tell her. I was just thinking about this the other day, that if we started off an extramarital affair by knowing that we are going to get caught and this is going to affect our marriage, we would never start it, would we? For instance, if let's take Sri Devi. When Sri Devi left her home for Dubai, if she had known already that she's going to come back dead, she's never going to come back, she would never have left, would she? So I feel that a lot of people get into situations and get into even extramarital affairs thinking nothing will happen to them, believing that no, I will not get caught. So when they're doing it, they're not doing it with the intention of harming their wives or their marriage or their families, but they get caught.
Was Victorian morality on this? Because India has always celebrated extramarital affairs, like Radha and Krishna.
Never ever. I would never try to impose Victorian morality on anyone at all. And I would be the last person to tell anyone have an affair or not have an affair. But the one thing I would tell them is please don't get caught. Don't hurt others. While you're at it, never hurt someone. And if you have children, be very, very careful. Do not rock the boat of a happy life.